BuzzFeed has published an explosive report detailing accusations against artist R. Kelly and how he allegedly is running a cult that has held several women, young women, captive. Now the story starts by discussing a young girl, 19-year-old, who wanted to be a musical artist, went to one of his shows, met R. Kelly, and then all of a sudden, according to her parents, was brainwashed into cutting off all ties and communication with the parents and living with R. Kelly. However, it's not just one woman or one man's allegations against him. There are several people who have corroborated these allegations against R. Kelly, and he has responded to them. We'll get to his response in just a second. But first, let me give you some of the details. So 3 former members of Kelly's inner circle, Cheryl Mack, Kitty Jones, and Asante McGee, said 6 women live in properties rented by Kelly in Chicago and the Atlanta suburbs, and he controls every aspect of their lives, dictating what they eat, how they dress, when they bathe, when they sleep, and how they engage in sexual encounters that he records. By the way, there was an audio recording that one of the women had taken of an interaction with R. Kelly that was also given to BuzzFeed, and BuzzFeed said that his comments and the way that he was engaging with the young woman are in line with the accusations against him. Now, the women in Kelly's entourage initially think, this is R. Kelly, I'm gonna live a lavish lifestyle. No, you have to ask for food. You have to ask to go use the bathroom. Kelly is a master at mind control. He is a puppet master. That's according to Cheryl Mack, who was one of the people associated with him. Also a 31-year-old, they also listed the type of women who are living with him currently. They detailed a 31-year-old so-called den mother who trained newcomers on how Kelly liked to be pleasured sexually. She had been best friends since high school with the girl in the videotape for which Kelly was tried in 2008. Of course, that was the tape where he allegedly urinated on a 14-year-old. She recently parted ways with Kelly, these sources say. Also, a recent arrival is a 19-year-old model who has been photographed in public with Kelly and named on music gossip websites. That's a rarity among the women in his circle, since he usually keeps them private. There's also an Atlanta songwriter who he began a relationship with around 2009 when she was 19. She's 26 now. And an 18-year-old singer from Polk County, Florida. Max said the Florida singer is Kelly's favorite, his #1 girl. And
that's what a coincidence. She's the youngest one.
Yeah. Huh. So there's more details about the way he allegedly treats them, but I want you to jump in.
Yeah. So look, this is a very hard situation because when adults make a decision to stay in a situation like this, there's not a lot you can do. And so if your kids get caught up in a cult, and they're of adult age, oh man, it is a nightmare.
Because you can't file a missing persons report. Cops can't really investigate the situation the way they would if someone was truly missing. The parents of these girls know where they are, but they're not minors, they're adults, and it appears that they consented to be there. So there's very little that police can do.
Almost certainly they went in with consent.
Right.
And now it's hard to say, well, he was controlling their mind, we think, so they no longer have consent. That's a hell of a thing to prove. So on the other hand, you and I, being outside of this crazy situation in his house, can tell, no, you're telling people when they can go to the bathroom, when they can't, and all these specific instructions, and you're using the girl whose best friend was allegedly peed on
during a sex act.
And all these years, it was filmed. It's on tape, allegedly.
It's amazing how he got out of that.
Yeah, because he's a celebrity. These celebrities drive me nuts.
Yeah.
So she's still with him all the way to the age of 31, training these other girls. And he's got so much money. He'll probably get away with all this too. And if you got money in America, well, good news for you is you got a whole different justice system, and you got resources at your command. And if you're a celebrity, everything's gonna be okay. I see Chris Brown everywhere. everybody's forgotten. Nobody cares.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, here are some more details of what's alleged against him, and then I'll read you his response. So he allegedly confiscates the women's cell phones so they cannot contact their friends and family. He gives them new phones that they are only allowed to use to contact him or others with his permission. Kelly films his sexual activities, McGee and Jones said, and shows the videos to men in his circle.
Oh, he's such a bad guy. I was wondering why he videotaped. As I'm looking at the story, I'm like, when do you have time to look at the videos later? There's like 6 women in the house. Like, what are you doing? No. He's showing it to his friends, bragging.
Right. And the allegations against him, are somewhat similar to the allegations against Bill Cosby in that all the women who end up getting involved with him and living with him are women who wanted to pursue the music industry for their careers. And so it starts off, and it's interesting because it starts off with the parents being very involved, making sure that they're there for every phone call and the meetings and all that. And then all of a sudden, R. Kelly will say, hey, I want to take her on tour with me, so she kind of sees how this industry is.
Don't do it.
And before they know it, all of a sudden communication is allegedly cut off with their daughters. Also, Kelly almost always tells the women to dress in jogging suits because, quote, he doesn't want their figures to be exposed. He doesn't want them to look appealing. Kelly would make the girls turn around and face the wall in their jogging suits because he doesn't want them to be looked at by anyone else. That was one of the other allegations by a woman that was associated with him and who's now speaking out against him.
He doesn't want them seen by anyone else unless he recorded them having a sex and then shows it to his friends. Like, hey, don't look at their ankles when you're outside, but hey, you want to see me having sex with them if you're a buddy of mine?
This is insane. So cops have done 2 welfare checks. The first welfare check, they show up and no one's there, okay? So they leave. The second welfare check, they show up and everyone's saying, no, everything's okay. We're happy to be here, no problems whatsoever. And again, it's really hard for authorities to do anything if you have adult women saying that they're not being held against their will, that they're there because they want to be there. So, I want to make sure I give you that part of the story as well. Now, a rep for the singer tells TMZ that Mr. Robert Kelly is both alarmed and disturbed by the recent revelations attributed to him. Mr. Kelly unequivocally denies such allegations or accusations and will work diligently and forcibly to pursue his accusers and clear his name.
During the height of the Iraq War, I said if someone I know and love wanted to go sign up to serve in the military, I'd tackle him because not for that war. Okay, you're gonna go get your legs blown off or die for that nonsense. So now I have almost a similar rule about especially about the music industry. I'm serious, but especially if you're a woman. Okay, by the way, note to parents: if R. Kelly says, "I'd like you to take your daughter on a tour," the answer is hell no, under no circumstances. Okay. So right now, if they're all in the house saying, yeah, everything's hunky-dory, probably not a damn thing you could do about it. And if he didn't do the things about like taking their phones away and doing all the other manipulation, and you gotta ask me for permission to go to the bathroom and all the other stuff, and they just signed up for, yeah, R. Kelly's famous and I just wanna have sex with him and I don't care that there's 5 other girls here and I don't care that he's taping it, I don't care about any of that, then that's fine. Maybe it's not our cup of tea, but when you throw in all the other stuff, it's obvious that he's manipulating them. It started as just, hey, he's powerful, he's a celebrity, I like him, whatever, right? Now it's turned into something else.
I mean, just think about where you were when you were 17 or 18 years old. I'm not talking about physically, but mentally, right? And you have these big dreams and you really want to succeed, and then you have this power imbalance where this big celebrity, someone that you aspire to be like, tells you that they can help you out. I mean, there's already a certain level of power and control that he has over these girls, right? And I think it takes an insanely strong-willed person. I think it's almost impossible to find a person who can, say no to that and just be like, it's just easy to be manipulated when you're a young person who desperately wants to establish your career.
Yeah. All right. Last thing on this, if anybody says, I'm gonna take your phone away and they're not your parent, watch out. That means they wanna close you off from the rest of the world, whether it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, or whoever, or a cult leader or whatever, a religious leader. Don't let them take your phone, don't let them take your passport. Don't let them take anything like that. That means you're in a world of trouble and they're looking to isolate you and control you. So whether it's R. Kelly or anyone else, don't do it.
Help us build independent media together. TYTnetwork.com/join.